Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to this detailed analysis looking into Euro Yen and its price action from a multi-time frame point of view. Now we see Euro Yen already pushed down massively, and basically to me that it's potentially forming some sort of bearish continuation. So we're going to take a look from a top-down approach, and we're also going to go over my live position that I'm currently in right now. As you can see, I am live on Euro Yen as well. So I'll talk about my entry, I'll talk about my management, and what I see moving forward. So let's start from the higher time frame on Euro Yen. If we look at higher time frame here, as you can see that we have this kind of higher time frame double top. Price was originally moving up correctively in this ascending channel. We know these type of structures that tend to be reversal like. So we hit the double top here, price basically impulse down out of this ascending channel. So that's a good sign from a higher time frame point of view. We know that this could lead to a bearish kind of price action. And if we look closer here, now we can see that there is kind of expanding structure forming, and there's a few swing highs and a few swing low, as I say that is enough to count as a criteria for a potential correction and leading towards another down move. Now, if we dig deeper into the lower time frame, so we can look at the lower time frame structure, we know that there is this kind of double top here, right? Double top on the price, and we have this expanding structure in the making. Price move up correctively once again in this kind of a rising wedge reversal. So rising wedge moving up the price correctively, and if you can see my first initial entry, I waited for this wedge to basically impulse out, waited for the first correction. At the time, to me, it was looking very clean, looking like a head and shoulder pattern. So that fits my plan to enter. I like the position. I like the confluence here when I see the bearish kind of price action in the making. And basically, I enter with a entry order, as I always do, set the stop entry order here, stop loss above the high, and basically price tag me in. But it just didn't have enough momentum at the time to basically carry out the bearish move on the price. So eventually I was getting tagged out. But as we know, risk management, right? We keep our risk small. We only risk 1%, so we know that we don't over risk our positions. And I'm happy to wait for further development. Further development meaning that price from the higher time frame down to a lower time frame doesn't change, right? We're still in that larger structure. Nothing changes. We're just consolidating here. So the first entry didn't work out. That's fine. We take a loss here. But once the price falls into this kind of another rising wedge, and if we zoom out a little bit, we're forming into a M style pattern as well. As we talk about M style pattern, are reversal in nature. We have a short lower time frame double top. We have this M style pattern, and on the right side of the M, we do have a very clean kind of a rising wedge pushing to the upside. As I always say, with these kind of M style pattern, you want to see basically rising wedge or ascending channel or some sort of bearish reversal on that right side that can lead to a potential downside much better probability wise. So basically, I end up with a reversal order. I set the entry order here, and then price set the stop loss above the high, even above this previous high as well. I just want to make sure I can cover the potential pullback as the correction may continue to correct upwards a little bit. And I didn't want to get tagged out of this position, but eventually, I think this is uh, during London session, price just impulsively down and basically formed a kind of a continuation correction here on New York session, and now we're kind of pushing down now. So basically, what I see now from the price is that now that price has already kind of completed this M style pattern and it's impulsing down, so there's higher probability we're just going to continue down. So what are my targets here? Well, my first target would be kind of the bottom here, bottom of this kind of rising wedge for about 5.6% or so. But my main target would be actually more to the downside, where completing this larger expanding structure as well. So this could lead to a higher time frame continuation. So this could be my second target here. This would be a bigger trade. I think if I do, if the price does reach the bottom, it's almost 10%. So really massive trade if that does play out, if the price does impulsively down to the downside. And as we know, if this is going to be a continuation correction, if this structure that we're currently in at the top is going to correct this down move, and we're really going to get a big push down from the price even past this low, and then potentially continue after. And I might look to keep this in the original position, scaling into this position if it's so, or I might even look for a potential entry somewhere in the middle, which we will take a look later on a backtesting kind of point of view. But that is kind of how I see on Euro Yen. And there's a lot of confluence from the price, clear price action here on the lower time frame, clear price action here on the higher time frame as well. That can give us a very good opportunity for a downside move. And I do think that impulsive phase can begin after we finish this corrective structure. Now, Went over two position here, went over the kind of analysis looking at this potential sell that I got in, and also went over the target, potential target as well. Now let's do a little bit of backtesting work now. I want to take a look at some backtesting work because this is very interesting. When we do some backtesting work, we're going to see similar price action in the past, which can give us and lead to us a better probability of entering these positions once you see it play out many often. So let's look at the price here. If we look at this piece right here, if you notice where we are right now in price has a lot of similarity than what's going on here in the price. So let's do a little bit of chart work here. So we're going to kind of grab this over here, and basically we're seeing very similar structure. Let's take a look here. We're seeing a similar kind of a ascending structure moving the price up. So you can see similar price action here. And then you do have an impulsive move to the downside. We have the same impulsive move. And then price currently we're forming into this expanding structure. And if we look at in the past, we also form into an expanding structure. And what happens after the expanding structure completes? We see that really strong impulsive move. And somewhere in the middle, there was another correction here as well. So what does this tell us? Excuse me. This tells us that when we see previous price action has worked out, there's a higher probability of the same kind of position, same kind of price action to work out in our favor as well. Now, this expanding structure looks like it's potentially going to complete, and we might get the same kind of outlook. So if we look at a little bit of backtesting work now that we've seen how price could have played out, we're going to ask ourselves that was there any potential entry for this down move? Now, let's take a look into here. We do a little backtesting, so make sure you can use the replay button on TradingView. You can notice that back in the price here, you can see that we have the same ascending channel where we have now the current price action. We had the impulsive phase, and then we have this expanding structure. Now, if we dig a little bit deeper here, did we have some sort of entry? Well, there is, right? If you look at this, there is this kind of a smaller ascending channel while in this larger expanding structure. So even though in the current price action, that we have right now isn't forming into the same kind of reversal kind of price action that we have seen on the daily, so there was a ascending channel. But where we are right now, basically on the lower time frame, we got a M style pattern. So right, so it's not going to be exactly the same kind of bearish price action, bearish kind of lower time frame correction, but the higher time frame doesn't change, right? The higher time frame still have the expanding structure, just like the higher time frame have the same expanding structure in the past. And lower time frame, all it is that it's just a forming a different type of bearish reversal price action. Instead of ascending channel, we have a M style pattern, right? But it's the same thing because it's showing you that the lower time frame here is facing the same double top. We're facing a bearish reversal price action. So that's really good to understand that when we dig a little bit deeper into the price, you're going to see these kind of work more often, and that's usually going to help us to basically strengthen our analysis. Because if you look at where we are now, we could do this backwards. Is you're going to copy where the current price action is. We draw in the same trend line that we would have normally draw here, and then we draw our kind of potential the impulse and moving to the downside, which we get here as well. And then basically we draw in the same expanding structure that we are currently seeing, and you're seeing the same expanding structure here. So over here that we have currently is a smaller M style pattern, but over here we have the ascending channel, and then we have that impulsive move to the downside. So potentially today, tomorrow, we might see this euro yen price on the lower time frame just continue pushing down, and we might form this middle correction here, and that's kind of potentially scaling opportunity that I might consider depending on what the price do, but very high probability of reaching to the low of this original structure. So if I'm looking at this original price, after hitting my first and second target, if we do get price continue to the downside, then certainly another downside to the low of that original ascending structure is very possible as well. So that's something to look out for kind of a mid to long term outlook. But I think backtesting here is going to really help us to understand these kind of price action very often, because you're going to do backtesting, you're going to realize that higher time frame, lower time frame, multi-time frame analysis is very crucial to identifying kind of potential impulsive phase in the market. You can see then this higher time frame descending structure. As we know, descending structure is a bullish reversal. Look how many kind of corrective kind of price action we have in there, You can always identify them in any market, any time frame. It's about identifying them and basically take advantage or take capitalize on a potential move. Now that we know that descending structure is going to be a bullish reversal, what do we know about ascending kind of structure? We know that it's a bearish reversal. So after a bearish reversal, what can we potentially get? Potential continuation and then potentially push down for another bearish kind of impulsive phase, just like what we have seen here in the past. Okay, everyone. So I hope that summarizes everything on Euro Yen. Euro Yen is still the current position that I'm still running right now. So still running live on the trade penalty. It's running about 2% right now, I think, in the profit. But like I said, my kind of a target or how I would look for targets are these first potential targets. But if we do get the completion of this higher time frame structure, then certainly further downside, I think it's also possible that obviously I will look to keep the trade if possible, and then potentially scale in more opportunity if the price does create a good enough price action for me to consider. So there it is, everyone. That is my detailed Euro Yen price action analysis from a multi-time frame point of view, as well as some quick back testing and chart work on the market. Any question, comment, feedback, welcome to let me know, guys. And if you like these kind of content, you'd like me to do these kind of breakdown, feel free to subscribe me, follow me, and ask me to do more. All right. Thank you very much.